I know I haven't been streaming for a while, but I do have a good reason why. I've been doing. Oh, wait a minute. I can actually see through them. Okay, that's better. Hey everyone, Jason Antonio Berg back again with a live stream. I know I haven't been streaming on YouTube for a while, but I've decided to keep my video schedule on a hold for quite a while because I actually do have a couple of videos that are set on Premiere on specific dates. So while we're going to be waiting for that, I'm going to be doing a couple of live streams. And according to this, we've got... Oh, hey! Random Person 07. Nice to have you in the stream, and nice to have you in the chat. I haven't been streaming for a while, but I'm actually glad we decided to get back into it. So why not then to play some Pokemon? I actually got a head start of playing Pokemon for quite a while, and I realized I haven't done this for a long, long while. So, right at the bat, I was actually at this part of the swamp, and when I look carefully at the swamp, I mean, it kind of represents the one from the anime, Pokemon Horizons, and I actually did saw it too, and it was actually really What in the world? Oh, it's Flamigo. A fighting and flying type, just like Hawlucha. Really interesting. Oh, and Krogunk too? But just earlier today, I just encountered another shiny Pokemon. I don't know what got in that one, but I found it somewhere on a mountaintop until I decided to evolve it. So it was a... Oh my gosh, what was that Pokemon again? I'm trying to remember from Gen 3. I think it was... Oh! It was, the pre... I think it was the pre-evolved form, or the evolved form of Altaria. A Swablu? Yeah, Swablu. So, Oh, my Garchomp is all paralyzed and unable to move. I'm gonna give it a... Got a lot of paralysis heals, too. I got also some super potions as well. Right. So even though I haven't streamed for a while, I thought I might get back into it. So I'm actually really glad I decided to get back into these streams. I know I haven't been doing these for a long time, but you know, I've kind of been busy focusing on my... I've been focusing on my other times off screen, but oh man. I mean, it was really rough at the time. But I think I was able to successfully finish that. Well, at least for a while. So, like, way back, you already saw that I posted on my community post that I went to Gigazone Gaming back on Saturday, which I think was almost an entire, like, last week. I think it was the last few weeks when I went there. So, I just wanted to give you guys an update. I'm turning 21 soon, and wait, what in the... What? Oh, man. Well, aside from that, I am turning 21 soon, and hopefully I might get a chance of understanding what being a 21-year-old is all about, but there are some things... even if I turn 21, there's just some things that I won't be able to do. And I won't announce that because it's just gonna cause an outrage. If I hope it doesn't. But physically, I am personally excited to turn 21, but at the same time, I'm kind of scared of what's gonna be happening. I mean, I was just in this universe for almost 21 years now. Before I started all of this. But personally, I'm hopeful that it might be good, or hopefully it might be just a little bit terrible, but my hopes are pretty high if anything can be good. And I mean, this is Zapdos, but I won't be able to catch it because it just doesn't... Because I haven't 100% figured out where all the other legendaries are at. Which is kind of a massive problem because I've been thinking about something for quite a while. I mean, I am going to be keeping my main profile of me playing Pokemon Scarlet, but in the back of my head, I've been thinking, what if Gen 1 Pokemon had started their journey, but in a new way? Since Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee debuted back on the Nintendo Switch back in the day, some more Dragon-type moves and Fairy-type moves were added into the game. I mean, it was the introduction of... Yeah, I think it was the introduction of Fairy-types. I mean, I was completely new at the time. I mean, I was kind of new to this whole Pokemon thing, and the first Pokemon game I tried was Pokemon Rangers, and it didn't go well. I just didn't know how to play it, so I ended up canceling me playing Pokemon for a while until Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came to the rescue. I mean, with those games, like, it was a completely different game. Instead of just doing what the Pokemon Ranger would do, I mean, just a swirl on the 3DS screen, I mean, it allows you to catch Pokemon, and it kind of got my calling. So I was actually really happy that that I was lucky enough to get Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Sadly, I've lost my old copy of Pokemon Ultra Moon because I think I left it back in the hotel when I was about 17 years old, but I was really young and I didn't know anything about losing things until now. So I never lost my old copy. I never lost my current copy of Pokemon Ultra Moon or Pokemon Ultra Sun because on my Pokemon Ultra Sun profile, I have almost all the Pokemon collected, but I'm still missing a couple more. And that's why I'm planning on playing Pokemon Ultra Sun or Pokemon Sun, the classics, the classic Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Pokemon Ultra Moon, while keeping my original Pokemon Ultra Sun data and the Pokemon. Because, since, the reason why I'm keeping that data is because of one reason. The Nintendo 3DS online system shut down back, a couple of months ago. It shut down by Nintendo. My hopes are extremely low if they can my hopes are pretty high if they can ever bring back the online system on the Nintendo Switch Online. Or my hopes for Nintendo 3DS that can go on the Nintendo Switch Online system are actually pretty high. I mean, my hopes are pretty high on this one, but at the same time, I don't know if Nintendo could actually do it. So for the time being, I'm actually going to be playing some current Pokemon games while playing on my Nintendo Switch. Quite interesting. I know it is quite interesting. I mean, at the same time, I still feel really bad of what's happening. I need to fix that somehow. Trying my best to figure out how to get this fixed up somehow. I need to figure out how to, let's see. You should go on about more things. Talking more, as it is very interesting. I mean, I would, but at the same time, the only problem is that when I do live streams, it's just not too much of an interesting deal or too much of a problem, but I mean, the more I talk, the more interesting my videos can be. Like, physically, Pokemon has always been updating. Pokemon games have been updating, and because of the Pokemon algorithm, Pokemon has actually made a trailer for the new upcoming Pokemon game that's coming out in 2025, which is next year. So I was expecting that it could come out somewhere in October or December or anything that's in 2024, but they decided to make it air. They decided to drop it in 2025, and that is a long, long wait. But in the back of my mind, I've said, you know what? Fine, I can wait that long. But at the same time, my hopes are just too low. So, what Nintendo and Pokemon have decided to launch is actually a brand new Pokemon game. And this one kind of shocked me. If I can just find the case for it. Found it. Because when I look at all of my games, Nintendo was actually in the middle of recreating we've seen a lot of remakes of the games, like remakes of Gens 1. There was also a remix of Gen 4. And also we saw an Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And we also saw Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And now they're focusing... They actually made this really interesting prequel of Pokemon. And right here, if I can just switch to my main camera. If I can just get it out there somewhere. Or if I can just get the audio in somehow. Because I really want everyone to understand what I'm saying. Sorry guys, I don't know if you heard my camera, but this is what the game looks like when Pokemon launched it. This was the first of the Pokemon Legends series. This one was called Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I liked playing this game. And in all honesty, it was an action RPG. Like, I don't know what Pokemon was thinking, like making an RPG of Pokemon. I mean, that's just messed up. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, it was a weird step forward for me at the time. I mean, it was quite an experience, but I don't know, but tell the truth, I am confused when I played that the first time. I mean, I know it was a Gen 4 remake, but not by much, because when I see it, I felt like in the back of my head, I was like, oh god, what is that? And right, but the only difference is, if you actually replay, or if you actually look at one of my YouTube shorts, then you would have definitely noticed that there was another, I did mention that there was a Pokemon Gen 6 remake coming out shortly, and this one is the exact same as Pokemon Legends Arceus, but instead is actually based on, an actual city. Or at least, I'm not positive, but I think it's an ancient city of Lumio's City. And that is a Pokemon X, Y, and Z combination together. And this one is called Pokemon Legends Z -A. There was a minus sign in between the Z and the A. So, I mean, I have no idea if it's going to be 100% finished by the time it's in the development. I mean, it's been in the development for when we saw the Pokemon presentation, I mean, I feel like the developers were in the middle of creating this game. I mean, if I'm 100% true, I mean, the only thing is, I would definitely say, I mean, that thing alone would actually help us to see more Pokemon, and hopefully some returning Pokemon. But what I'm really looking forward is the return of Mega Evolution. Because when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh my gosh. Pokemon Mega Evolution in the Pokemon Switch? If you play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, you would definitely see that they've made an epic update. They've added Mega Evolution in the game. Like, it was an absolute treasure. Me, physically, I never minded Mega Evolution, but in the back of my mind, it told me otherwise. So, my rates for Mega Evolution Pokemon, my thoughts on those are actually really interesting, and I actually like Mega Evolution, but not as I used to, because before I tried out Mega Evolution, the only time I tried it was back in Pokemon Ultra Sun, and I was battling against Dexio and Sinnoh, and the only difference is that instead of getting every single Mega Stone, once you fought Dexio in 2 different types in Pokemon Sun, you actually fight him right at like somewhere before you get to the other edge, or right before you enter in the Pony Plains on Pony Island. You actually have to fight him there once you get into the post game, and for me that's just annoying. And for the last one, it's for Ultra Sun, and I think right before you get into the Pony Meadows, Dexio and Sinnoh will battle you again, and then once you defeat them, they'll reward you with a Keystone and a Alakazite. And I have both these games, Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun. These are my 2 favorite games ever. So I never lose those. My original copy of Pokemon Ultra Moon, still gone. It's somewhere in the hotel still, like in that hotel that I was spending the night at while we were clothes shopping. And of course, I wanted to address that this was an absolute pain to actually lose a Pokemon game. And I have no idea how it was gonna be advanced or how it was gonna see, but my hopes are pretty high that I might get a chance of seeing everything. Like when I saw Pokemon, like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon for the first time, it felt like it was different, but now at the same time, I feel like things went a little bit different now. Let me just fix my microphone on my second camera real quick. I'm not 100% sure if all you can hear my voice now, but I'm going to try my best to fix it. Or can you actually hear my voice? Hold on real quick. I'm going to see if it works on my other page. I'm going to see if it works on YouTube real quick. Hold on. I was actually watching a bit of Glider on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to see if all you can hear my voice now. Oh yeah, it works. So my voice is now back on this microphone, and I'm actually really glad. I actually do have a Blue Yeti microphone right here, but seeing I don't have a cable for it, the best I can do is just put it somewhere like this somehow, if I can try. But seeing that's going to be in front of the camera, I can just place it up here somehow. So that's gonna be my best bet, especially since I'm using my MacBook microphone. I'm planning on getting another plug or a plug-in for my old Blue Yeti, because I think my old one must have broke. I don't know how that happened, but I'm still trying my best. So, now with the microphone out of the way, since all of you can actually see my microphone, I'm actually gonna see if I can raise this up somehow. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. But hopefully, my hopes are pretty high that I might get a chance of getting another plug from my microphone, and I actually do have an idea, but I'm not sure. But Alright. So I'm gonna do something a little bit off screen, but hopefully I might get a chance of doing it. But at the time being, I'm actually there was a 1 hour live stream that I did earlier, and I think that pretty much took my almost an entire hour, and I think it was a big improvement at the time. So aside from that, let me fill you out of what's been happening. So I was able to get all the Vivian forms, and let me pull up the Bulbagarden.net or the Cerebi website, and I can show you of what kind of forms I got for each Vivian. I was also able to transfer some of the Pokemon forms from... I got some of the other Pokemon forms, but I actually kept some of them in my Pokemon Home profile. Or my Pokemon Home... Or just in my Pokemon Home boxes. So right now, I got the Meadow form. And I'm going to tell you the other ones that I've got right here. So, this right here... This one, I believe, is the Polar Pattern. And this one is the... Oh, the Thunder Powder. The Pattern. Thunder Pattern. And this one, I have no idea what this one is called, but I think it's Continental. I have no idea what this one is called because it's kind of a tough one to say. This one is... Oh yeah, it's Continental form. Yeah, so that's Continental. And this next one is the Garden form. And this one... I think this one's an Elegant form. Now, this actually did get a chance of being on Ash's side for a little bit before Ash decided to release it. So that's kind of a sad moment. Now, this one's the Icy Pattern. Now, the Icy Pattern was supposed to go with the other Vivian, but Pokemon actually decided to mix things up a little bit for Vivian. So, depending on the location you have, each Vivian's wings will actually give off a very specific pattern. And seeing that I do live in America, this is the pattern I get. This one is called the Modern Pattern. And this one is the only pattern I can only get in America. If you're in different parts of the world, then your Vivian pattern should look different. And there's been one kind that kind of got me confused. Like one kind of pattern that got me a little bit confused. And I think it was this one. And this one is the Marine Pattern. The Marian Pattern? I have no idea what it's called. It's called the Marin Pattern. Marian Pattern. I have no idea what it's called, but I'm pretty sure you'll get this one. Now, this one is a little bit of a tough one to pronounce. It's Archipelago Pattern? Yeah, I think it's Archipelago. Archipelago, I believe, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm trying my best to pronounce these ones. Oh, and this one's pretty simple. It's called the High Plains Pattern. And this one got me confused, but kind of gave me questions. This is the Sandstorm Pattern. I don't know what Sandstorm Pattern... like, if this Vivian could withstand a sandstorm... Like, if it can, that could be a great idea. And this one's actually my favorite. Like, not all the way my favorite, but this is the river patterned Vivian. And I have no idea what it's all about, but, you know, it's kind of that. This one is the Monsoon Pattern. I don't know what Monsoon is at, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, the only thing that did got me a little bit striked up was this one. And this one is the Savannah Pattern. I mean, this one, it looks like a blue aquamarine and yellow. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, not much of a good style, but I'll live with it. I mean, true. Oh, and this one is the sun pattern. I mean, it looks just like the sun if you really look closely at its wings, though. Pretty cool. And next up, we've got the ocean pattern, and this one looks really... Like, this one's gonna give us some kind of weird effects gonna go happening with our eyes shortly, but I don't know. But you guys can let me know once this stream gets done, and you guys can write in the comment section. And this one was a little bit different. This one is the jungle pattern. I mean, it looks like it's based off of a real jungle, but the only difference is that, like, what is the jungle pattern? Like, is there any specific things that we don't know about this pattern, or where did it even came from? I mean, this was interesting. Oh, and this one was a this one was actually an exclusive one for when you get the games of Pokemon X and Y. And this one is the fancy pattern. This one is the fancy pattern Vivian. I mean, I was really happy with how this Vivian looked like. I mean, it looks really fancy with the amazing green and the amazing flowers on it. And actually, there is one more pattern of Vivian, but I do not have that because it is super rare and is actually exclusive to a distribution code. But my hopes are pretty high if I could ever get one from somebody. But I don't know if anyone has this form yet. And that is the Pokeball pattern. And the reason why it's the Pokeball pattern is because its wings resembles a actual Pokeball or a Pokeball. I mean, this was actually an interesting Pokemon. I mean, Vivian is actually a really awesome, like, it's kind of like a moth instead of a scale Pokemon. And when I looked at its data, or when I looked at Cerebi, I mean, Vivian really is an amazing Pokemon, but it evolves at level 12. Which, unlike Butterfree, which evolves at level 10, but is actually one of the rarest, like, actually a pretty interesting Pokemon that can actually evolve at level 12 really early on. And that's why I've decided to keep these 19 forms, and yes, these are the only 19s that I can find. Because the other ones are, or the last one was a real trick, because when I've been trying to find one on Pokemon Home, like, nothing was up. I've been looking for all Vivian Pokemon, and I've been trading lots of Pokemon to specifically get the forms of Vivian that I need, while the remaining ones I had. And these ones, I was actually able to keep my Cap Pikachu, except for one, because I ended up trading my old Alolan Cap Pikachu, but this one was a bit of a different story. Because this one is the, oh, it's a wishing ribbon, and this one has the classic ribbon, but this one has the wishing ribbon, which was a huge pain. This one has a classic ribbon too, and so does this one. This Ash Ketchum Pikachu was the wish granter, so basically this Pikachu could somehow learn wish. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I mean, not 100% obvious or not 100% true, but I've tried looking at its movesets, but it doesn't reveal it. Yeah. Other than that, I think I've been physically focusing on catching some Pokemon and evolving some of them and keeping them in Pokemon Home. But, because of my Pokemon Home, subscription is about to expire soon, I'm about to lose all my processed Pokemon. Well, luckily I was able to keep some of them, but the remaining ones, they're gonna be in a bit of a tricky situation. So I'm looking forward of fixing all of that. Oh, and during the process, I actually did traded a certain Pokemon on Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I can get this thing. It's called an Amoris. And this thing is also a flying type, But this one introduces a fairy typing, and this one has a certain move known as Springtide Storm. I have no idea what this does. I mean, I'm gonna give it a test try real quick, see if it really works. So, here we go. I mean, this thing looks really interesting. And wait, what's its ability called? What's its ability? It's known as Overcoat. What is Overcoat? Anyway, let's see what Springtide Storm looks like. Alright, here we go. And oh, it avoided it. Skidoo avoided the attack. Vine Whip. Oh my god. Because this is Amoris is high level. Oh, here. Whoa! What? What in the world was that? That is interesting. That is one interesting Pokemon. And all honesty, I've seen Weindeer or I've seen Weirdeer. I've also seen Cleavor, Ursaluna. This interesting form of Ursaluna, which has the amazing Blood Moon ability, or Mind's Eye ability, and this awesome Blood Moon Hyper Beam. Oh, and also 2 forms of Basculegion, and also Sneaslash and Overquill. This thing is an absolute beast of a Pokemon. Like, don't believe me? I'm actually going to show you its size. And, like, this thing is incredibly enormous. Like, I don't know why it's that huge. But it's possibly the former Alpha Pokemon. Oh my god, this thing is absolutely huge. And, this is the Alpha mark. So, physically, every Pokemon actually does have a mark. Like an Alpha mark, or just basically a mark that has a specific, detail of where these Pokemon came from. And honestly, this was an absolute crazy find. But the most craziest Pokemon I've actually ever did find was definitely Ceruledge. I mean, I had to end up getting Charcadet, and then I had to evolve it into Armor Rouge. But honestly, I would have loved Ceruledge better, but seeing that I'm playing on Pokemon Scarlet, I could only get Armor Rouge, which was a Scarlet exclusive, until I realized that Armor Rouge was exclusive to Scarlet, while Ceruledge was exclusive to Violet. Why should go on the backstory on how you got your favorite Pokemon? Well, when I first played Pokemon, I mean, I didn't really have a favorite, but I didn't have a single favorite. I had 3 favorites. And the first one was Meowscarada. And, seeing that Meowscarada was my favorite Grass-type starter Pokemon, I ended up choosing Sprigatito, which was a cute Pokemon because it's a cat, and I just like cats. And I know Abdallah loved cats too, but instead of choosing Sprigatito when he played Pokemon Scarlet, he chose this thing. He chose Fuecoco. Now, Fuecoco is a fire type, which everyone kind of appreciated. But when I played Pokemon Scarlet for the first time, right before Abdallah completed his, or after Abdallah completed his, I was able to get Sprigatito, which was an absolute cuteness, which has an absolute cutie. So I actually love this Pokemon. So at the very least, I think I may have made the right decision of me choosing Sprigatito, while the rest of the other Pokemon I actually ended up having to catch. So for the time being, I've had lots of like favorites, but you know, Sprigatito was my #1 favorite, or it was actually just in my top 3 favorite Pokemon. While the second favorite Pokemon was none other than this amazing Pokemon, Cinderace. Cinderace was actually the most popular, loved Pokemon that everyone chose, right, when they play Pokemon Sword. But some other Pokemon trainers actually did shows Rillaboom and also Italian. Wait, what happens if you have a female Pokemon? Oh, now that is actually a good question. Female Pokemon are actually really rare because when you get a female starter Pokemon, it's actually a really rare find. And I actually did have a female Pokemon before, but at the very least, I didn't know at the time. But when I looked at its gender, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say anything. I was like, oh, a female starter. That's pretty rare. But at the very least, when I played Pokemon Ultra Sun, I mean, I had to choose Poplio because not only was it a good Pokemon, but because it has an amazing, like, this Pokemon was an awesome special attacker. I mean, with Sparkling Aria, it's its special attack and it's a signature move. So I was really happy with that one. But the effects of Sparkling Aria has changed from Pokemon Ultra Sun or Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, so those are my top 3 favorite Pokemon. And you're probably wondering to yourself, how did it affect Sparkling Aria for Pokemon? Like, how did it affect Primarina? Well, I can probably show you. Seeing that Primarina is my favorite water-type starter Pokemon, I really loved how this one has a good special attack, and I think I didn't realize on how it was, but I'll show you Sparkling Aria. See, the original Sparkling Aria was supposed to have Primarina's hair open, like when it was gonna unleash the attack, but this one actually changed it. They changed the way of how they do it. They just started to unleash, it without doing anything, so that kind of got me upset. So, yeah, that kind of got me disappointed that Sparkling Aria was ruined. So those are my favorite starters: Cinderace, Primarina, and Meowscarada. I mean, I loved Primarina, Cinderace, and Meowscarada because they were absolute amazing legends. I mean, Meowscarada and Cinderace were physical attackers, and Primarina was the only special attacker in the group. I mean, the only thing that is kind of bugging me was not just their gender, but also just their stats. I mean, when you really think about it, I wanted to tell you something about their Pokemon. Like, I want to tell you something about the Pokemon. And I'm actually going to start off by taking a look. So, I'm going to see if I can get the National Dex up on Sarah B. So that way we can actually see of how these Pokemon were evolved. And I'm going to show you guys something. Or I'm going to tell you guys something. So seeing that Primarina was my favorite starter Pokemon from the very beginning, and because you can actually get it in either male or female, but I've decided to just go whatever. So at the very least, when I got it for the first time, I mean, it was pretty good. Until when I saw the gender, it was a female, and that kind of... I mean, it was okay, but at the very least, I liked how it was a special attacker. So, it's kind of not possible. But at the very least, it's not too much of a deal here. So, I'm actually going to tell you something. So, when I took... So, I'm actually going to be taking a look at Primarina here. Because when I saw Primarina, I mean, the stats on this Pokemon are actually a little bit more different than I thought. I mean, it doesn't really show me of the stats, but, you know, kind of weird. Different. Sorta. But, oh well. But, this Pokemon, or, like, Primarina, I gotta tell you about this Pokemon. So when you really look at its stats, I got this train in special attack and speed because of its special attacks like Sparkling Aria, Ice Beam, Chilling Water, and Moonblast. When I looked at its base stats, I mean, its special attack, trust me, this thing was an absolute monster. I mean, 126 on special attack, 116 on the special defense, 80 on the HP, 60 on the speed, 74 on both attack and defense. So this thing is a full straight on special attacker, and this thing was really, really, really strong. I mean, when it's max stats, I mean, when it gets to level 100, I mean, I actually can see, like, I actually did saw this. I mean, its HP is from 270 to 364, and its attack stat went from, or that was Primarina's HP from 270 to 364. And when its attack stats, it went from having 168 to 271 to both defense and physical attack. They're both physical. Physical attack and physical defense are from 168 to 271. Its special attack and special defense were at from 282 to 368. That was from special attack, and special defense went from 260 to 364. And lastly, its speed. Trust me, this is from 137 to 240. So Primarina is a full-on special attacker. So this thing is an absolute amazing Pokemon. So that is Primarina for you, and let's talk about Cinderace here. Cinderace was a great choice for me because when I saw Cinderace, I was like, oh god, Cinderace is my favorite Pokemon. I mean, I had to choose Cinderace because of its stats. And of course, when I saw like oh my god. I mean, how can I even see Cinderace's amazing attack stats? Like, Cinderace's stats. Like, trust me, this thing... Trust me. This thing was an absolute beast. And I need to take a look at its Pokedex. Maybe that's how I can find it. I mean, when I saw it, I mean, this thing was really... This thing is physically strong. I mean, its attack stat is at a whopping 116, and its defense and special defense are all tied together at 75. Its special attack is kind of dope, like it's down because it's 65, and its HP is at an 80, and its speed is at a amazing 119. So Cinderace is a full-on, straight-up physical attacker. So combine that with its crazy move. I mean, trust me, guys. This move on Cinderace was an absolute amazing move. I mean, trust me, it was an absolute banger of a move. And this one was called Pyro Ball. Like, this thing is an amazing attack, and even though it's a special attack, I've actually decided to train this Cinderace up for physical attack and speed, and I might put the rest on defense, so that way this thing can actually be a full-on physical attacker. I mean, complete with a Pyro Ball, or, yeah, complete this with Pyro Ball, Double Kick, Quick Attack, and a combination move like either Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, or even Bounce. This thing will be ready to go. I mean, however you want to train your Cinderace is fine by me. But I personally decided to, this is actually, I'm not using Cinderace at the time of making this video, because I currently use Decidueye, Incineroar, and Primarina instead. But before I started this game, I went with the full Galar starter set, such as Meowscarada, Skeledirge, and Quaquaval. Quaquaval is actually Cody's favorite water-type Pokemon, and he actually used Quaquaval for his game, while I used Sprigatito, which was absolutely amazing. So, that's Cinderace for you. And, And speaking of Meowscarada, we better take a look at its data. And trust me, this Pokemon, like Meowscarada, is my favorite Pokemon. And it's definitely one of the best ones, too. And there is a simple reason why. Let me tell you about it. Its attack stat is at a pretty good at 110. Its physical and special defense are tied at 70, while its special attack is at 81, and its HP is at 76. But here's something else. Its speed is at a huge 123, so this thing is a full speed. This Pokemon has a full speed stat, because I'm actually looking at Cerebi at the time right now. And of course, according to me, when I saw Sprigatito for the first time, I felt like, oh man, Sprigatito's good. Like, Meowscarada was an absolute great choice of a Pokemon. So that's who I ended up choosing for my first game, or when I first played Pokemon Scarlet. So that is Sprigatito, Cinderace, and Primarina. They were my 3 favorite Pokemon. And I also got some mystery gift Pokemon as well. However, the only mystery gift Pokemon that I did got was this. This was my first mystery gift Pokemon, and this was Pikachu. And then my second one was actually just some items, but these are actually the next Pokemon. I got a Hisuian Zoroark, Gargonicle, and what was that? I think that was my iPad. Yeah, Gargonicle. Because Gargonicle is actually a rock and poison type. Just like Nihilego from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Kind of weird. And I also got Palafin 2, which has the weird 0 to hero ability. And then I also got this weird Bronzor from just weirdness there. Then I also got Gastrodon 2. Oh, and I also got my own Charizard too. And seeing that Charizard is here's the thing, guys. This Charizard is a adamant nature, so I might end up training this in special or like defense, like 1 in defense, and the remainings on both physical attack and speed. However, this Charizard actually has my character name, and these are the movesets that it came with. It came with Crunch, Flare Blitz, Acrobatics, and Dragon Claw, which I think is a pretty good moveset, but even though if it is a physical attacker. And then I also got this shiny Grimmsnarl. I mean, with Thunder Wave, Spirit Break, and dual screens, Light Screen and Reflect, and also with the Prankster ability. Kind of weird. Kind of crazy. Oh, and I also got Mew. This is my very amazing Mew that I got, because Mew can learn every single attack. And this thing has the Synchronize ability. And fun facts, this Mew actually does have my original trainer name, because depending on what kind of code that you use, or there was a code that allows you to get Mew, but it's already expired. And then I also got Gastrodon too. I mean, this thing has Earth Power, Icy Wind, Yawn, and Protect. It did came with leftovers, but I decided to remove the items just for now. Oh, and I also got this thing. It is Titan. Titan. I think it's called Titan. Titan is actually a weird ice type Pokemon. I mean, at the very least, the only thing it did had was this weird moveset. And this one had the Slush Rush ability, and these are the movesets that it came with. Body Slam, Amnesia, Ice Spinner, and Double Edge. I mean, I don't know why it was that, but kind of weird. Oh, and also I got Dragapult as well, with Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, U-Turn, and Terra Blast. And its ability is Clear Body, so kind of prevents it from getting hit by any attack stats or status, like when it gets hit. And then I've also got the Team Skull, or the Team Star, Revavroom. Like, Revavroom is actually one of the best Steel and Poison types, but this one does have a Fighting Terra typing, so that's kind of weird. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this weird thing. Oh, it's also got the Overcoat ability, and this one has Iron Head, Swagger, Poison Dab, and Terra Blast, so weird. I also got a Gimme Ghoul as well, which I think I might have to keep as a Gimme Ghoul. but it does have the rattled ability. But breaking news, this one actually does have the Paldean trainer. The original trainer is Paldea. And I also got my shiny Lucario too with the code as well. I got, this one was hooked with Flash Cannon, Aura Sphere, Bullet Punch, and Ice Punch. So, kind of different. I also got Palma as well. And this one has this weird trainer. And this one has the Double Shock, Discharge, Quick Attack, and Nuzzles. Like Nuzzle attacks. And this thing has the Volt Absorb ability. Oh, and also this thing is a physical attacker. Oh, and I also got Darkrai in the middle of getting the new games as well. Or getting the new DLC. So, I got... This one came with Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, and Hypnosis and Dream Eater. Which this thing is powerfully strong. Oh, and also earlier, I also got Lico's Sprigatito as well. Now, this one is the exact same Sprigatito that Lico had caught, or Lico received before her appearance in Pokemon Horizons, which Ash was removed. I mean, the writers decided to remove Ash from the anime, and that kind of got me disappointed, because I never physically appeared in Pokemon in my entire life. I'm still looking forward if I can actually appear in Pokemon soon, but my hopes are pretty low, and my hopes are pretty high at the same time. And last but not least, guys, this is the current Pokemon I have. It's called Manofira, and it's the nickname for Iron Hands. And this one has the weird, Oh, and this one's Marco's Pokemon, too. You should talk about Fortnite game that you did. Oh, yeah, that's right. I just explained that. I just told you guys all about my Fortnite journey. I actually did try it out Fortnite back in Gigazone. I've already told you, so if you could actually replay this live stream and go back to when I said about something about Fortnite, I actually did have a good time, because it's not all about me winning, it's just all about having fun. You can actually take a look at my pinned or my community post to find it, and it was an absolute amazement for me to compete and to attend Fortnite. I had a fun time playing Fortnite, and I might get a chance of playing Fortnite again soon, but who knows, my hopes of me playing it again are kind of high. But I'll be looking forward to it someday. And I'm still having good times, though. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't get the epic victory royale, though, but I've just had a good time, though. So, aside from Iron Hands' main attack, it's also Marcos' Pokemon. So this one has the water Terra typing, and I was like, wait, what? Why is it water Terra typing? But at the very least, I didn't care, because I could just hook it up with Terra Blast. What place did you get? I got in, like, somewhere in the back place, because I did not get anywhere near to the first marks. So that kind of got me upset at the same time, but at the very least, I had a good time, though. So those are my mystery gift Pokemon and some of my favorite moments for when I played some other games as well back in Gigazone. And honestly, it was the best time ever. So my hopes are pretty high if I could ever compete in the Gigazone Gaming Championships again. Because Gigazone Gaming is actually my favorite gaming convention to attend because of Fortnite. So, I think that's gonna conclude it. I'm almost reached the 1 hour mark, even though I've only spent like 40 or 54 minutes. So, before I leave, guys, I wanted to remind you of one thing. So, right here are all just some comments from random person 07. I mean, trust me, I'm gonna compete in some other things off screen, and because of YouTube's algorithms lately, I haven't been focusing on making YouTube videos for a long time. So I'm kind of hopeful that I might get a chance of uploading some more content later. But all honesty, I'm still focusing on finishing a bit more. I mean, I'm really hoping that I could. You should definitely do more competitive events I would love to, but at the same time, I have to be with my parents in order for me to attend these events. And it's going to be a tough time for me at the time because I have to focus on this while being with my best friend. Because my best friend in real life is Cody Van Englenhoven, and he and I are still in the middle of creating the second season for Cody's Comic World. What do we got here? Oh, you need parents' permission? Yeah, I need their permission. Even though I am an adult, I still need their permission because I can't do all this by myself because I need my parents' help for me on this one. So, yeah, that's why I've decided to take this to an ultimate new level and an ultimate test. So, I'm still hopeful though. Trust me. Oh, are you guys gonna have a play date and make the Cody's Comic World? Yeah, we actually worked on season 1 like way back in 2021 before my original YouTube channel got terminated, forcing me to start a brand new channel. But at the very least, I'm still hopeful that we can. But at the same time, I just needed to get some of the equipment ready to go. And I'm also in the middle of making some stop motion videos too because I physically wanted to do something I thought I would never do. And that is for me to get some of my Lego stop motion experiences. And the way for me to do that is to watch Michael Hickaxe's original ideas of how, what do you guys do when you or he comes to your house? Or do you guys do animations and play toys? Well, we actually play video games and we read some of his digital comics, and I really don't want to give away too much, but I'm just looking forward of what's going to happen. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my almost 1 hour live stream again. I mean, I've almost reached the 1 hour mark, even though it is 57 minutes long. I was expecting it to be a little bit shorter, but never in my life have I gotten this far. Hopefully I might get a chance to make another video like this, and hopefully you guys might enjoy it, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.